I was listening to a podcast with Layla Hormozi, and she was discussing some harsh comments about her voice on her online content. When I started listening to her husband Alex's content a few years ago, I really resonated with him and his philosophies, and how he would break down concepts into such understandable and applicable ways. I found her story so cool because I felt like I could relate to her. I'm into fitness, nutrition, both being raised by our father, and I also have a deep voice. I actually got picked on as a kid for it. I guess I had to grow into it. Imagine a little kid walking around sounding like I do. Not to mention growing up in the South where a lot of people, my family included, have thick accents. I grew up hiding mine because I didn't want to be stereotyped as a redneck or dumb. I already had to deal with being made fun of for having a man voice, as they called it. Honestly, now looking back, they weren't very imaginative at name calling. I remember I would go home to my grandmother's and ask her why the kids at school were so mean to me. She would just write it off as, "They're just jealous, Tabitha." Maybe at first I would buy into that, but as I got older, I realized that it was kind of a throwaway, superficial band-aid, if you will. I'm sure she was just saying to make me feel better at the time. But all of this to say, I really look up to Layla for her influence and the journey she shared getting to where she is now. And I relate to her in many ways. Even before I started listening to her, when I started my journey in this career being a voice actor and on-camera talent, I kind of tried to use the harsh words as fuel. Maybe to cut through some of the hate and criticism, telling myself things like, well, I did get picked on for my voice and now I get paid for it. I've had other people I've seen that I resonated with growing up despite being different. I think that's where I decided to use that and embrace being different. So whenever something was super mainstream and popular, I didn't find any value in it. For example, I really enjoyed Amy Winehouse's first album, Back to Black. Her range and her pain was influential for me during high school. Often, kids feel so alone and afraid to be vulnerable with each other because, let's face it, kids are just mean. Just knowing someone else was struggling with something doesn't even have to be the same struggles, could get you through those hard seasons. I don't get a lot of specific questions about my work, but the most often question I get is, what got you into voiceover or voice acting? So I think honestly, this is how it all really started. I may not have known it at the time where this would all take me. The journey is really just getting started, in my opinion. I'm constantly learning new skills and trying to apply them to my business so that I may grow, but also to make changes in my own life and relationships. Ultimately, what had to happen was I had to learn to embrace my uniqueness through my voice. I had to learn to embrace uniqueness about myself and others. That's what I started to look for. I started to appreciate things that were different instead of things that all look so similar. I try to find ways to use my talents to be a productive benefit to those around me.